Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Justin, Blackbeard's Radio, K3EE. Today I'm doing something a little different. One of the guys in my local club, the Azalea Coast Amateur Radio Club, Dan, K7DM, we're lowering his tower. Check that bad boy out. We'll get into why and how in just a few minutes. I gotta go help.
So have at it. And I've marked that we're on the leg. They are. So when I put them back, I don't have to think about it. You know, the moving tower. I would then do it because you still have to remove this.
Oh, do we?
This is going to hit this, right? That is going to hit this.
I apologize.
No worries. I already had. Hey, I've had a lot of time to stare at it, right?
Irrigation people in Wilmington to come adjust stuff is a hard pill to find every once in a while.
I did. I loosened this one up yesterday.
Oh, see, it cheated on.
Don't waste Jason's time. Certainly is the tool for the job.
It is a lot better than the alternative of Emmanuel.
Oh yeah. Well, after we're doing just those two bolts, right?
Do you remember what happened to the wrench?
It's right on top of the table.
Is it? I must have missed it.
I just moved it.
Not quite. Got it.
Last one I think is going to be another Jason stand-up.
That's okay. Justin, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
It's
All
like
the
calling Don, Dan, Don.
All the Jasons.
Justin's easier for me. My nephew's named Justin. So on this one, there's no way in God's green earth I'm getting that.
No, this is the tilting one, so we should be fine. Because this one's already loose, right?
Thank you. That's exactly right. We leave that one. Jesus, Dan. That would be a disaster.
Well, it wouldn't have been great, probably.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir. Bottom. Yeah.
I was wondering why it wouldn't go.
That giant battery said, I'm heavy.
I figured this is the flex battery, that 60 volt, but it works in the 20, fully charged, and I figured.
Tim the tool man, that bad boy. More power.
is interesting. Impact wrench, it has a setting where you can go from low to high, but it has a precision. This is a precision setting where it figures out how much time,
what it needs,
and so you don't over tighten or under tighten. So we start from the top.
well, so we need to remove all 4 of these, correct?
All 4 of these.
Okay. Well, I think that's your decision. Where would you like to start?
Yes. Let's see with the bottom.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so now we're at the point where all the bolts are removed out of the tower,
And now,
except for
tilting bolt.
the 2 tilting bolts. Do we want to refer to the checklist one more time?
You can. I just checked.
But you know where we're at.
Yeah.
Plug in links, release a solid small amount of slack, and lower slightly tilted. Using a 2x4 or something similar, push over.
Make sure that you're not underneath the.
No, it should fall behind me.
Perfect. Okay. You want to pull it?
If you're ready.
Okay, you're good.
Well, right about here is where we realized later that we had a problem. You'll see the catch hook in just a minute or so, that is not letting the antenna plate rotate. Dan has a mast rotating plate for his antennas so that the antenna array will stay horizontal as the tower lowers. There's better pictures of it coming in a few minutes, but this was the initial phases of the antenna's not doing right, so what now? I don't know how hard I can lift.
You can lift it all you can. It should be lifting itself.
All right, so the mast section has a tilt plate on it so that the antenna is supposed to constantly level itself. And what's happening is that hook right there is actually caught. And that's not supposed to be engaged so much. So now we're trying to manually override that hook so that the antenna will level. And that way it'll lay flat and the antenna will continue to shift flat like that. So it's a really cool system. Yeah, I'm sure the video caught it, but as you notice now, the antenna itself, the big beam, is laying almost perfectly horizontal, and that's because of this hook that was removed. It was actually in that orientation. And it was pinned there, and it hooked there on that U-bolt. And that was actually preventing the antenna, the beam, from laying flat like it is now. So now that the antenna is able to rotate freely on the rotating plate, as the antenna continues to lower, as the antenna lowers, or the tower, excuse me, that beam will continue to level itself out almost, so that you can actually drop the whole thing and be safe. While we were moving the tower and trying to figure the hook out, we moved the table over there and cribbed it up, and that way, should the winch lose tension or something, we have the box cribbed and ready to catch it. So yeah, trying to add in layers of safety everywhere we can. Yeah, that looks like it's supposed to.
That's it's like,
It looks way better this way.
When I'm lowered in, I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah.
It's not. And as you say, it was
tight.
It wasn't going.
No, it was not.
Okay. So let's I'll pull it out.
Kind of what I was looking at. It looks pretty good so far.
Sam, coming down.
I don't think it gets any more down than that.
Okay, you're going that side.
I'm heading there. And now the point of this is just to keep the cable
Yeah. This is
well lubricated,
This is good for cable health.
and that way hopefully the cable lasts a very long time, right?
Well, the manufacturer's saying you should change your cables every 3 years.
3 years.
But the guy who put up my tower, who has me a tower, says I don't do that. Because I don't know anybody that does it.
3 years seems awful. I mean, that seems awful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right, guys, give you a quick rundown. I'm not sure what the video caught. I might have messed up pressing play on the last video. But what we've done, Dan has Prelube 6, which is a passive preservative lubricant, quick penetrating, non-drying, non-tacky. This is what was recommended to him by US Tower Corp, which is who made his steel tower. This is a steel galvanized tower that is guyless. And that's what makes it such a great tower. But what we did just now was all these wires, or cable wire, whether it is the hoisting of the tower or whether it is the actual vertical raised lower cables, we soaked rags through and We covered all of these cables, even internal of the lattice work. And then when we were done with that, we lubricated the frame of the tower itself with white lithium grease. And that way, on these slide points that you can see, like right there, and then, yeah, right there. You can see how it's sitting right there. All that's lubricated. And that way, as the tower goes in and out, or up and down, excuse me, shirt, these little wear contact points that you can see right here, hopefully that will give it some protection and just a little bit of lubricant to make it go a little better. The next thing we're doing is we're going to take a break and we're going to try and figure out what we need to do, or what he needs to do. I'm just a helper, with the hook. So you can see with the rotating plate, this is a beam rotating plate. It's got a couple carrier bearings here and here, and then it actually mounts to the mast with this, and then this whole plate, which has the beam mounted to it, rotates, and that way in wind load it can shift. But you can see that eyelet right there is what the hook was connected to, and there's the U-bolt that the hook was connected to. So Dan's gone inside to get his phone and a contact number for his dealer that he used for the tower, and he's going to figure out exactly how this hook is supposed to be placed, because it was very evident with it in place the way it was that the beam itself was not self-leveling like it was supposed to be. I'm doing a walk around so you can see. One of the things Dan did is a cable standoff. That's like 5 or 6 feet away from the base of the tower. And he actually looped it in, and that way the wind can't get it wrapped up inside of the sections when it's raised. The loop over here of coax on the ground that you see, that loop is actually in place. That way when the tower's raised, you can spin the rotator. There's the rotor right there, but you can spin it around and not snap the coax off of it. And that had gotten, because of wind around here lately, it had actually gotten wrapped up some. So we got that straight, got everything lubricated, got it lowered, and now we're trying to figure out what to do with that hook. So I'll get back to you probably about the time that we are raising it. And I'll try and do a camera view from the side and then one from the end down there. I'll try and remember to set up both. I have 2 cameras with me today, but we'll see how that goes. All right, cool. Hey, y'all give me a like and a subscribe. You can see now that the beam itself is auto leveling as it moves up. So we adjusted that hook, we hope, to the right spot. Coming back. I'll be honest, that was terrifying for me. Absolutely terrifying. You might want to tighten that winch cable up some.
Oh yeah.
It's spooled a little bit there.
Yeah.
Oh, that actually pulled the holes in alignment down below too.
Yeah.
like it's not moving. It's caught like halfway up the hook. That little hook right there's the problem. Well, here we go again. The hook caught. So I'm gonna fast forward through a lot of this as fast as I can, or delete it. But we're still fighting that hook, trying to get the spacing of the U-bolt and the hook to be what the factory recommended, which was 1/4 to 1/2 inch unlatched when the tower is in the vertical position. So all this setting up and moving and getting the hook out again, I'll just edit it the best I can.
There's another one. We have 3 there, don't we?
I have the other one.
They actually built the antenna separate. And the last thing we did, we put the tilt plate on and then put the antenna on the tilt plate. So we had it all set up. One thing we didn't do, I should have had to, let's take it down and see how it holds over.
Well, we didn't get it on this time. We had to lower it one more time, take the hook out again with it suspended in the air, and then adjust the U-bolt one more time according to the manufacturer's recommendations. And on the 4th time, we finally got it, and the antenna was able to be horizontally lowered with the tower lowering. It was a beautiful thing.